and welcome back to Classic Song Reviews. I am the man, or the middle-aged nerd if you simply must. As you know, today's music is both morally and artistically bankrupt. In this show, we hearken back to a purer time when music was excellent and lyrics were meaningful. Our song today reached number 9 on the charts in 1971 and was a hit for Daddy Dewdrop. This unfortunate name gained him daily beatings in school, but ultimately turned to his advantage, for as soon as he reached the legal age of 18, he successfully sued his parents for several $1,000,000, which enabled him to live a life of ease, writing songs and performing them at his leisure, which just goes to show... It isn't? Dick Monda. That's just as bad. It seems that I am mistaken. Daddy Dewdrop was a stage name. His real name was Richard Monda. I stand corrected. In any event, he wrote and performed the song we're examining today. Without further ado, let us begin our excursion into his song, Chick-a-Boom. Did I read that correctly?
Last night I had a crazy dream.
Mr. Dewdrop has just informed us that what follows is meaningless. None of it actually happened. It is all the product of his sleep-induced imagination, and there is no reason why anyone else should care. Perhaps he should have continued by saying, "Attention, listener. If you continue, you will expend 3 minutes of your life that you can never get back. You have been warned." This is a rather inauspicious beginning.
Bought a chick in a black bikini.
Oh yes, a young man dreams of a nubile young female. Not an uncommon topic for this period, or any period, considering that males of the species tend to spend inordinate amounts of time obsessed with their reproductive organs. Note also that once again we are talking in rhythm rather than singing. This is further evidence that these modern thumpers, I believe they are called, have not actually created anything new. My generation was doing this sort of thing decades earlier.
Oh, she looked so good, she couldn't be real. She must be a magic genie.
Rather puzzling. This gentleman must have a fairly low self-image, because it appears that he does not believe an extremely attractive woman would pay any attention to him. We can only hope that, subsequent to the events of this dream sequence, he sought help to overcome his inferiority complex.
But she disappeared around the corner. All I saw were 3 doors and the top of her bikini.
So, he considers her to be a creature with magical powers, and suddenly she disappears around a corner. So she just vanished? Or did she step around the corner? If she made herself vanish, she did not do a very good job of it, considering that she left part of her swimwear behind. If she stepped around the corner, it would seem that she began to disrobe. For what purpose?
I can't believe I'm doing this again.
It would also appear that he is now a contestant on the famous game show Let's Make a Deal. He must choose door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3. Which to choose? Were I in his position, I would likely choose the one with her swimsuit top in front of it. However, This individual does not seem to be of sufficient intelligence to reach such a conclusion, as we shall see.
I made it through the first door. There was a party going on.
This must be a rather large place, or a small party. There is much here that Mr. Dewdrop fails to explain.
I asked about the chick, but what they said was free. Chicka-boom, don't you just love it? Chicka-boom, don't you just love it? Chicka-boom, don't you just love it? Chicka-boom, boom, boom.
Chick-a-boom? What on earth does that mean? Creative, but doubtful. Don't you dare. In any event, don't you just love what? The party? The swimwear? The fact that he can't find this woman? I don't understand.
I found the bottom part behind the second door.
The bottom part of what? No. Really? Well, this is just embarrassing. It would seem that our young lady, if such a term is applicable, is now in a complete state of undress. She abandoned the top half of her swimsuit outside the 3 doors and has now left the bottom half inside the second door. So she is, to use the common term, completely nude. Given the proclivities that the man telling the story has already demonstrated, he is now a raging ball of uncontrollable hormones. How sad.
Which took me to Africa, I presume.
Africa? How does he know he is in Africa? An explanation would be in order here, but sadly, none is forthcoming.
This really far out cat was screaming half crazy. Bam, boom.
How could he understand what a cat is saying?
I believe in sparing no expense when it comes to my stomach.
I suppose, since this is a dream, anything is possible. And if the cat is a cheetah, that would explain how he knows he is in Africa. At this point, I frankly have no clue.
I said, hey man, cut that jive and tell me where the chick went.
And of course, no amount of insanity will deter our hero from his testosterone-fueled quest.
But he looked at me as spaced as could be.
It would seem that the talking animal he has encountered is able to speak because it is under the influence of illicit drugs. That explains a lot.
My guess would be marijuana.
I said these words, but I wonder what he meant. Chicka-boom, chicka-boom, don't you just love it? Chicka-boom, chicka-boom, don't you just love it? Chicka-boom, chicka-boom, don't you just love it? Chicka-boom, chicka-boom, boom, boom.
And of course, the animal's response is nothing more than the chorus to the song, which still makes no sense either to the protagonist or to us.
Oh, don't you just love it? Don't you just love it? Don't you love it? Don't you love it? Oh yeah, don't you love it? Don't you just love it?
It would appear that our protagonist has adopted this nonsensical approach to the situation, even though he and we still have no idea what it is that he is supposed to love. Pressing on.
I opened the third door and there she was.
She leaves the top half of her swimsuit outside the 3 doors, leaves the bottom half inside the second door, and she herself is behind the third. How long did he take to get around that corner? it would seem that she had time to create an elaborate maze of garments and portals with which to befuddle him. Then again, befuddling this particular individual does not seem to require an inordinate amount of effort. In any event, he at last encounters the object of his turgid fantasy in all her unclothed glory. No doubt we are about to be subjected to an extensive description of her attributes. We may as well get it over with.
And she whispered so sexy, hello. Ooh.
Let me get this straight. He is confronted by a naked young woman, so beautiful and appealing and desirable that he has concluded she cannot be real and must be some sort of magical creature. And he comments on the way she whispers? I believe I am coming to understand the import of all this. Our protagonist is somewhat mentally deficient and is pursuing this young woman for the purpose of playing a game of Candyland or some other such innocuous entertainment. A modern musician by this time would be giving us an extensive description of how he is removing his own clothing, his loins pulsating with anticipation and expectation of intense physical pleasure as he... Is it warm in here? In any event, here we see the superiority of musical expression of my generation. Rather than a vulgar description of her private femininity, he comments on a non-physical attribute, to wit, her voice. This is classical rock expression in its highest form.
I tried to do the same and impress her with my style. But why I did this, I'll never know. Chicka-boom, chicka-boom, don't you just love it? Chicka-boom, chicka-boom, don't you just love it?
In the vernacular, I believe that is called a mood killer.
Yeah.
The chorus continues as we fade out. So, what are we to make of this song? Here we see a shining example of artistic subtlety. A young man is confronted by an unclothed, stunningly beautiful young woman, but rather than inflict vulgarities upon us, he chooses to focus on attributes such as her voice and leaves the rest to our imagination. At the same time, I must ask, if this is nothing more than a dream, most likely fueled by too much alcohol and day-old lutefisk, why did he feel the need to immortalize this particular mental escapade in a song? If we examine it closely, we see that even though he eventually caught up to the girl, as he approached her, he was only able to babble incoherently. Thus, Mr. Monda has just announced to the entire world that even in his dreams, he finds himself more than likely in a perpetual state of virginity. While I myself may find such a situation rather admirable, other listeners are likely to have a different opinion. In any event, we are led to the conclusion. We listened to some pointless stuff.
My hump, 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 my hump.
And clearly, we are not alone.
Don't you know I love it? Chicka-boom, don't you just love it? Chicka-boom, chicka-boom, don't you just love it? Chicka-boom, chicka-boom, don't you just love it? Chicka-boom, chicka-boom, boom, boom. Chicka-boom, chicka-boom, don't you just love it? Chicka-boom, chicka-boom, don't you just love it? Chicka-boom, chicka-boom.
Wiggle, wiggle.